day, my dear students. So we will tackle today Chapter 4, Estimation of Parameters, for our Statistics and Probability subject. So we have Lesson 1, Computing the Point Estimate of the Population. So I have here the objectives. So you need to illustrate point and interval estimation, distinguish between point and interval estimation, identifies point estimator per population mean, and computes for the point estimate of the population mean. So before we'll tackle lesson 1, I want you to prepare a calculator, pieces of papers, and a ball pen, or you can have a pencil. So I want you to follow our discussion, so in order for you to learn something. So let us start. So before, again, we will tackle lesson 1. Let's have first our entry card. So we need this entry card in order to recall our fast discussion and in order for you to be prepared of the things that you need to, or the terms that you need to recall for this lesson. So we need to answer 7 questions. I have here listed 7 questions. This is multiple choice. As you can see, for number 1, so what do you call the set of all people, objects, events, or ideas you want to investigate? So when we say a set of all people, from the word itself, all, so this is population. For number 2, a sample refers to blank of a population. So a sample is a part of a population. That is why the answer is a sample is a subset of the population. Letter A. Number 3, what is the mean of 13, 27, 29, 17, and 14? So let us recall the formula in finding the mean. So the formula in finding the mean is you just have to add all the data divided by the number of data. So in symbol, this is summation of x divided by n, regardless if this is a population or this is a sample. So using your calculator, we need to add 13 plus 27. I want you to follow class. Plus 29 plus 17 plus 14. Then press equals. So you have 100 and there are 5. So 100 divided by 5. So the answer for the mean is 20. Letter C. Okay, number 4. What do you call a number that describes a population characteristic? Okay, so when we say population, this is all about parameter. So the answer is letter B. We have discussed this one in our lesson 1 during our chapter 1 discussion. And when we say statistics, this is about the sample. So parameter is for the population and statistics is for the sample. For number 5, which of the following symbols denotes population mean? Okay, so we have 4 symbols. For letter A, this is X bar. Letter B, that is sigma. Letter C, that is mu. And letter D, that is S. So the answer for the population mean, we will denote as letter C, that is mu. Number 6, which of the following symbols denotes population standard deviation? So when we say population standard deviation, we will use sigma, letter C. And when we say sample standard deviation, we will use S. And for sample mean, we will use X bar. So we have discussed that one during our chapter 1 and we just have recalling it. Okay, for number 7, in statistics, error refers to. So when we say error, this is not a mistake. In statistics, this is the difference between an observed value and a parameter. So the answer is letter D. So now we're done with our entry card. So let us proceed to our discussion. So I want you to follow. So an estimate is a value or range of values that approximate a parameter. So that is given. That is the meaning of an estimate. When we say a point estimate, now what is a point estimate? So a point estimate is a part of an estimate, since estimate is a range and a point is only one. So a point estimate is a single value that approximate a parameter. And the process of determining the parameter values is what we call estimation. So we have the formula for the standard deviation, and the variance for a sample is S squared is equal to the summation of x minus x bar. That x bar is the mean squared over n minus 1. And for standard deviation, this is just the square root of the variance, which is equal to the summation of x minus the mean squared divided by n minus 1. So, since we are done talking about the terms that is needed, so let us have an example in finding the point estimate. So, this is an example, a cocoa juice. So, Mr. Santiago's company sells bottle of coconut juice. He claims that the bottle contains 500 ml of juice. A consumer group wanted to know if his claim is true. They took size random samples of 10 such bottles and obtained the capacity ml of each bottle. The result is shown as follows. So we have sample 1, there are 10, sample 2 until sample 6. So they have listed data, and they assume that the measurement were carefully obtained, and the only error presented is the sampling error. Then we need to find the point estimate of the population mean. So we have two solutions, not only two, but I will present only two solutions. You can use Excel program, you can use also manual calculation using your calculator, or you can use online platform. You can visit my Google Classroom to find the online platform. So for solution method 1, this is using Excel program. So we'll use Excel program to find the mean. Okay, so there are the steps, 9 steps. The first steps is we need to encode the data in the cells proceeding from cell A1 to cell A10. The same with cell B1 to cell B10 until F1 to F10. This is sample 1 to sample 6. Okay, so for step number 2, we need to select the data. So I have selected the first data, or this is the first sample. And for step number 3, we need to click the insert function fx. So I have encircle fx, dialog box will appear. So after clicking that one, there is a dialog box that will appear, just like that, insert function. So we need to click on the most recent use to statistical. So as you can see, I have clicked statistical. And for step 5, okay, it is much better if you will follow using your laptop. In order for you to learn more, you just have to follow me. We are now on step number 5. For step number 5, after clicking the statistical, another window labeled select a function, and you need to click average. In finding the mean, that is average. In finding the standard deviation, you can click. It depends if the standard deviation we are talking about is population or sample. So standard deviation is STDEV point P, that is for population, and for sample, STDEV point S, that is for sample. Standard deviation. So now, let us proceed to step number 6. So after clicking the average, there is a function argument box that will appear. So you will write A1 to A10. So after that, click OK, and you will get the mean, which is 497.8. Then you will follow the steps 1 to 7 to get the mean for the second sample until the last sample. You just have to repeat the procedure for other samples. Okay, for step number 9, you need to compute the mean of the means. This is also what we call the overall means. And this is the point estimate of the population parameter. So the point estimate of the population parameter, after clicking A11 to F11, we have 497.83. Or you can have 497.8. That is the overall means. So, do you follow, class? So, if you want to have questions and clarifications from this method, you can comment down in this video, and you can email me or message me through Messenger if you have any clarification. And if none, so we can proceed to another method. The second method is by manual estimation of the population mean. So this is using calculator. You just have to add all the data for sample 1. We have 500 to 495. So by adding 500, okay, follow, get your calculator. Let us add 500 to 495. So 500 plus 498 plus 497 plus 503 plus 499 plus 497 plus 497 again plus 497 plus 495. Then click equal. So we have 4,980. So this is approximated, divided by 10. So we have 498. Okay, so since the first mean is mean for the sample 1, that is 498. Okay, so based on the 10 random samples, the point estimate of the population parameter, as we have using our Excel, we have 497.8, or that is 498. Okay, so you can continue solving B, C, D, E, F, or the second sample until the 6th sample. And we will proceed to our next topic. If you have any clarification, again, you can message me on Messenger. So now I have here another example, but this is for your activity. This is track ban. Mr. Domingo conducted a survey among 10 random samples of people who are in favor of track ban in section of metropolitan area. He determined that a percentage of these are in favor of the ban, assuming that the only error present is the sampling error. He wanted to determine the point estimate of the population mean percentage and the standard deviation based on 500 observation. The following numbers represent the percentage of the 10 surveys. So that is the problem. So we have the given data, 47.0, 56.4, until 57.5. So there are 10. Okay, so we have here steps and solution. For number 1, we need to find the mean of the percentage. So again, we will use the formula. And the percentage, we need to add the percentage from 47 to 57.5. And for step number 2, we need to give the estimate of the population mean by... Okay, so I have here the solution. 47 plus 56.4 plus 50.1 plus 60.2 plus 48 plus 55.3 plus 60 until 57.5 using your calculator, or you can use the Excel. It's up to you if what method you will use in order to get the sum or the mean of the given data. So the sum of all 10 sample is 557. Okay, you can follow. And 557 divided by 10 is equal to 55.7. That is why the estimate of the population mean percentage is 55.7. So let us proceed to computing the standard deviation. So in finding the sum of the values, you need to divide it 1 by the numerator, a denominator, n minus 1. So this we are talking about samples, so we will use n minus 1. So in finding the standard deviation, you just have to get first the variance, then subtract the square root, and then again, that is the standard deviation. So steps. First is using the formula x minus mean squared over n minus 1. So 47, that is the first data, minus the mean that we have get a while ago, that is 55.7, then squared. So, okay, this is our calculator. You need to follow me. You can open parentheses, 47 minus 55.7, close parentheses, squared, plus 56.4 minus 55.7 squared, plus 50.1. Okay, sorry, that is plus. That is not minus. Minus 55.7 squared plus 60.2. Okay, follow. 55.7 squared plus 48 minus 55.7 squared plus 55.3 minus 55.7 squared plus, okay, you can follow, 60 minus 55.7 squared plus 59.5 minus 55.7 squared. And lastly, we have 57.5 minus 55.7 squared equals. So we have 276.7. Now divided by 9. So the answer is 30.74. Okay, so you can check using Excel if you want. Since I think Excel is much easier to use than the calculator. can recheck also using online platform. So you need to double check. This is very important in solving. If you're solving a large data, you need to double check the solution in order to get the correct answer. Since sometimes using your calculator, you can make mistakes while giving the or inputting the data. So that is the common mistakes of the students. Same for me. And to avoid that mistakes, recheck. Okay. So we are now. Then divided by 9, so the answer is 30.74. So in getting the standard deviation, you just have to get the square root of 30.74. So square root of 30.74 using your calculator. So the standard deviation is 5.54. This is called the point estimate standard deviation. Okay, so let us proceed. If you have any question again, you can email me or message me through Messenger. Okay, so it's your time to shine, class. I have here the set work. You need to answer this one and send me your answers. Again, I need your solution. This either you will use calculator or the manual writing, or you can use the Excel. So I'm expecting your answer tomorrow. Before we will discuss another topic. So we have 40 data. This is the result of your chapter test in statistics and probability for chapter 3. So done. Another activity is extension exercise. This is about real life problem, point estimation. So I want you to collect data about the rainfall in the Philippines for the year 2019, starting with the month of January. So since we are now on pandemic, so we'll focus on 2019. Again, you will use your browser. No need to use, I think you can find that one online. And what estimate can you make from your data for the estimate of rainfall in the Philippines? So explain the importance of this information. So the deadline for that is next week, Friday. So we are now on lesson 2, understanding the confidence interval estimates for the population mean. So chapter 2. So I have presented the objectives. So there are 4 objectives. No need to discuss each. This is the same for objectives for lesson 1. So let us be familiar first with the terms that we will use in this lesson. So an interval estimate is called also a confidence interval. And as I've written in the PowerPoint, is a range of values that is used to estimate a parameter. So these estimates may or may not contain the true parameter value. So an example is the age of beginning grade 1 pupil is any value between 6 years and 7 years. And another example, the age of senior citizens is any value between 60 and above. That is for senior citizen. So in determining the interval estimate, a degree of confidence expressed as a percentage such as 95%, or you can have 99% or 90%. That is that the interval contains the true and fixed parameters made. That is, If we collect several random samples and then calculate the confidence interval from each sample, these confidence intervals are constructed wide enough so that the 95% of them contain the true population parameter and 5% do not. The value 95% is also known as the confidence level. Okay, so there are three most commonly used confidence level in statistics. We have 95%, 90%, and 99%. So the general formula for the confidence interval as shown, we have x bar minus z sub alpha over 2 times sigma over square root of n, and we have x bar plus z sub alpha over 2 times sigma over square root of n, where the lower confidence boundary is x bar minus z sub alpha over 2 times sigma over square root of n, and the upper confidence boundary is x bar plus z sub alpha over 2 times sigma over square root of n. So we will make the formula shorter, so that is x bar plus minus, that is plus minus z sub alpha over 2 times sigma over square root of n. The confidence interval for 90% or the z sub alpha over 2 is positive negative 1.645, or that is approximated to 1.65. For 95%, the confidence interval z sub alpha over 2 is positive negative 1.96, and for 99%, that is 2.58. In general form, the general formula for the confidence interval, the term is z sub alpha over 2 sigma over square root of n, is what we call the margin of error. This is denoted by E. And it is defined as the maximum likely difference between the observed sample mean and the true value of the population mean. So we can compress the formula x bar minus error to x bar plus error. However, if sigma is not known, you can use the S. If the population standard deviation is not known, you can use the sample standard deviation. So now, this is the formula for E is approximated to z sub alpha over 2 times S over square root of n. So we have the rounding rule for the confidence interval for a mean. So in computing a confidence interval for a population mean by using raw data, we need to round off to one more decimal place than the number of decimal places in the original data. So if we have 2 decimal places, then it is become 1 decimal place. If you have 3 decimal places, that is become 2 decimal places. In computing also the confidence interval for a population mean by using a sample mean and a standard deviation, so given that there is a sample mean and a standard deviation, we need to round off the number of decimal places as given for the mean. If the mean has 2 decimal places, then your confidence interval must have 2 decimal places. So an example, this is hours spent in watching television. So the problem was presented and you need to find the best point estimate of the population mean and the 95% confidence interval of the population mean. That is our goal. So first is the point estimate. So we have 4 steps in computing the point estimate, the interval estimate rather. So for step number 1, we need to describe the population parameter of interest. Second, we need to specify the confidence interval criteria. And step number 3, collect and present the sample evidence. And for step number 4, we need to determine the confidence interval. So in determining the confidence interval, we need to determine the coefficient. Next is the error, the margin error. Next is the lower and the upper confidence limit. And lastly, we need to describe and interpret the result. So for step number 1, as we all know that the interest of the given data or the problem is the mean of the TV viewing time of all 5-year-old children. And for step number 2, by CLT, the sample size 50 children is large enough. So this problem is sampling distribution is normal. For letter B, need to determine the test stat. The test stat is Z using the standard deviation 0.5. And we need to state the level of confidence. At 95%, your alpha is 0.05. So this means that it is more random samples were taken from the target. You can read this one. And for step number 3, I want you to follow. We need sample information consists the mean is 3 and the n is 50 and the standard deviation for population is 0.5. Since the mean is already given, so the point estimate for the population mean is 3. This is the sample mean. Now we will proceed to step number 4. At 95 confidence interval, we all know that the coefficient is 1.96. Now we need to find the error. You can follow, use your calculator. We have the z sub alpha over 2 is 1.96 times our sigma or the standard deviation for population is 0.5 divided by, we have the square root over n is 50. Then this is equal to 0.14. This is approximated to 0.14. Now since E is already given, or you get the value of E, this is 0.14, it is easy for us to get the lower and upper confidence interval, or the limit, sorry. So 2.86 to 3.14, as you can see, this is from 3, the mean, minus the error, that is 2.86, and 3, the mean, plus the error, 0.14, that is 3.14. Thus, we can say with 95 confidence, the interval between 2.86 hours and 3.14 hours contain the population parameter based on 55-year-old children. No, that is 50, then 5-year-old children TV viewing time. Okay, so if you have any question, you can email me to my email account. I have already given my email account to you. And also you can text me or chat me through my messenger. For your set work, it is your time to shine. I want you to answer that GPA sub entering mathematics major. You need to follow the steps I have given. And the deadline for that is this coming Friday. So I'll be waiting for your answer. You just have to follow the steps. You can message me also through Messenger if you have any clarification for this set work. And we are done. Thank you for listening and have a good day ahead. Keep safe and God bless. Thanks for watching. Thank you.